Hi, so I was wanting to make some lettuce wraps, the kind that you can get in Vietnamese restaurants or Asian restaurants. And that's, lettuce wrapped around with some seasoned meat in it, some sort of dipping sauce. Typically, you look at a recipe for that, it's going to call for teriyaki sauce, and you can cook your meat, your chicken, or in my case, it's going to be ground turkey. You would cook that in a teriyaki sauce. A teriyaki sauce is basically soy sauce plus ginger plus garlic plus a whole lot of sugar. And I don't really eat sugar, so I was looking for an alternative to teriyaki sauce. And that's what I'm going to try to make right now. So ginger's not a problem, garlic's not a problem. I can substitute fruits for the white sugar that normally goes into teriyaki sauce. But then the issue is soy sauce. Soy sauce is soybeans and salt and water, a lot of salt. You basically grind up the soybeans and you cook them, and then you slice them and you put them in water and you let them get moldy and ferment, and that turns into soy sauce. And of course you need a whole lot of salt there to keep it from actually rotting while it ferments. So there's a lot of salt in soy sauce, almost 1,000 milligrams in a tablespoon of soy sauce, and we need something like a half a cup for cooking. So that's just an incredibly huge, obscene amount of salt, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to attempt to make something that will substitute for teriyaki sauce. It has to be something that will be decent when I cook the ground turkey that's going to go into the wraps. And then also, you need some sort of dipping sauce, so it needs to be something I can mix with peanut butter and mix with the peanut sauce to dip the lettuce wraps in. So, don't really know what I'm doing, so I went to the store and looked around the house and came up with some things that I thought might go together to make a decent teriyaki sauce. Obviously ginger, I have that. I have garlic. If you've never roasted garlic, I recommend it. It's real simple to do. You take garlic, whole head of garlic, you slice the end of it off so you can see the cloves inside. You drizzle some olive oil on top of it. I've got 4 heads in here. Kind of wrap it up in foil, put it in the oven, and bake it for an hour and a half until it turns into sort of it's almost like a butter, sort of a brown garlicky butter. And this is not quite there, so I'm going to stick this back in the oven while I do some other things. So other things I thought would be good, I have a sesame chili oil, which is nice. This is made by Dynasty. Rice vinegar, that's a staple of teriyaki sauce. Don't have soy sauce, so I bought some dry roasted edamame, which is basically roasted soybeans. So I'll be using those. For sweetness, I have a few Turkish apricots left. These are particularly nice because they're unsulfured. I have an allergy to sulfur and don't care for it anyway. So these are good. I also have some dates, so we'll be using those as well. Dates have a whole lot of sugar in them. They're really good for sweetening things. let's see, and I have some Madeira. This is a sweet wine, which I think will go good to make a sort of a sweet teriyaki sauce. This is sort of like the dregs of a bottle, so that's something good to cook with. I've also got some tamarind paste. This is Panda brand seedless tamarind. And if you've never had tamarind, it's a fruit, I assume, of some kind that tastes sort of lemon. If you've ever had tamarindo, which is kind of a Mexican soft drink, you can make that with tamarind paste and water and sugar, and it actually tastes sort of like a sweet lemony iced tea kind of thing. So we'll be using a little bit of this as well. Okay, so what I've got here is 5 dried apricots, 7 dates, we'll call that 3 tablespoons of tamarind paste. Get what it looks like there. Good bit of ginger. This is probably about 2 thumbs worth of ginger, peeled and roughly sliced. A couple of shallots. One thing I learned from cooking Indian food is that if you want to make sort of a nice thick sauce, ground onions as a base works really well, so I'm using shallots here. So I'm going to put all that into my food processor. And I've got a half a cup of my roasted soybeans. This will contribute a little bit of salt. Half a cup should give us 300 milligrams of sodium, compared to 3 times that much in a single tablespoon of soy sauce, and you'd probably be using 4 to 8 tablespoons of soy sauce. So then I want to end up with something like a half a cup of teriyaki sauce. So I'm going to start with a cup of liquid, so that'll be a half a cup of rice wine vinegar. This is Nakano all natural rice vinegar, no sodium, no sugar. And a half a cup of Madeira wine. And that's so close to the end, we'll just use all of it. And process this stuff together and see what happens. Okay, well that certainly looks interesting. It's not at all a bad taste. Not quite as sweet as, or syrupy as regular teriyaki sauce, but we haven't reduced it yet either, so. And this is actually quite chunky because of the soybeans. Bring it to a boil, let it cook for a simmer, let it cook for maybe 15 minutes. Then we'll add the roasted garlic and the sesame oil, and we'll call it teriyaki sauce. So I've got my head of garlic. I've got to be about that much roasted garlic. I'm going to add that to my sauce. And this is really kind of chunky, which I don't really mind, but think chunky sauce is really good as a dipping sauce, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the food processor and puree it into something a little bit smoother. It looks like a nice thick peanut sauce. So I guess we won't call it teriyaki sauce anymore. Let's just see what it tastes like. Wow, that's actually pretty good. It's nice and vinegary. You can taste the. You taste the dates and the apricots. You can definitely taste the chili. So I think this will work just fine. I ran the numbers through the recipe calculator on my MyFitnessPal website. And if you use this to cook a pound of chicken or ground turkey, which is what I plan to do, and you assume that that's enough for 4 people, then this will contribute 315 calories to that meal. 21 carbs, 11 grams of fat, 9 grams of protein, 67 milligrams of sodium compared to the 1,000 milligrams of sodium per tablespoon of soy sauce, and 12 milligrams or 12 grams of sugar, which is all from the dates and the apricots. 12 grams of sugar is roughly 2.5 teaspoons. It's about the same amount of sugar as you would get in a cup of skim milk, so not too bad. Okay, I'm back from the gym. It's a couple hours later. So I'm going to get a drink of water. Okay, so I'm going to cook up my turkey and make my lettuce wrap. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cumin seed. We'll say that's a tablespoonful. And then I have some black cumin seed, which I got at my little Indian shop. It's a little unusual. Doesn't have quite the same kick as my regular cumin has. I don't know if that's because it's not as fresh or what. But anyway, I'm going to put those in my frying pan here and heat them up until I can smell the cumin. I'm going to toast them a little bit, and then I'm going to put them in my grinder and grind them into a powder. I'm also going to be using some Thai Kitchen red curry paste. I use this a lot. It's got a lot of good flavors in it. It's a real nice sort of general purpose seasoning. It call it a curry. It's not like an Indian curry. It's a different kind of a taste. Sort of much more peppery. So like I said, I went to the gym. This is the weekend before Halloween. It's also right in the middle of the Muslim holiday of Eid. So my gym is in our little village community center, and they're having the Halloween carnival tonight. So it's sort of a interesting mix of little kids dressed in their Indian Muslim finest, and little kids dressed as monsters. running around the neighborhood tonight. But that's kind of an interesting little town that we have. So when you use cumin, it's always a good idea to toast it. It takes a little time to do, and a lot of times I'll just skip it. But it really brings the flavor out of the spice. So I've also got some other things ready to go. I took another couple thumb-sized chunk of ginger and cut it up into little matchsticks. I happen to like a lot of ginger. I took 3 of these little red peppers. They look like red jalapenos to me, but they call them Fresno peppers for some reason. 3 of those, chop them up, and then the roasted garlic from another head of garlic. So these are starting to turn color a little bit, so I think that's time. Last time I used this was when I made my eggnog, so there's still some cinnamon and nutmeg left in there, so that's kind of an interesting mix. A couple tablespoons of oil. I like grapeseed oil. And the ginger and pepper and roasted garlic. And the cumin. There's actually quite a bit of cumin, as you can see. I'm just going to kind of mix that up. And let the meat brown. And then once the meat browns, we'll add the sauce. Now my not teriyaki sauce is thickened up a little bit here, so I'm going to add another cup of hot water to it. Stir that up. I want it to be pretty thin for my peanut sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And let's just see how much we ended up with here. Looks like we've got probably, what, 2.5 cups? So I'll use half of that to cook my turkey, and then half of that to make my peanut sauce. While this cooks, I'm going to go ahead and feed the dogs. Yes. Say hello, puppies. Say hello. They're running around the house crazy. The little hearts are just going thumpa 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 thumpa. Okay. So I'm going to add roughly half of this. Be about a cup and a quarter. Can't read the metric size, so here's the side. Something like so. The rest of it back in here. That and let it cook for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Long enough that the ginger and the pepper can really get soft. I don't want to be eating raw peppers. So then with my other sauce, the rest of my sauce is over here. I'm going to turn it on to low. And get some peanut butter. I'm kind of at the bottom of my jar of peanut butter, so I'll just use whatever's in here. It always helps to pop in the microwave and heat it up a little bit, makes it easier to deal with. I like natural unsalted peanut butter. Peanut butter that basically has nothing but peanuts in it, and that's what this is. This is Laura Scudder's, made by the Smucker's company, and it's pretty decent. You can find more expensive natural peanut butters, but this is a good one. So this is not much peanut butter. This is not quite a quarter of a cup. It may not be enough. I'll taste it and see. It's actually about right. It's actually about right. So, this is probably a good opportunity to take the dogs out again. I've just fed them and we're still working on the housebreaking thing, so while this cooks, I will run outside with the dogs real quick. Okay, so while that cooks down, I'm going to prepare some stuff to go with the lettuce, right? So, got a carrot. I got this gizmo at the kitchen outlet last weekend. Never tried it before. So I'm just going to peel the skin off of the carrot, and then I'm just going to make a bunch of carrot shavings. And similarly, I have a cucumber. So I'll just make some cucumber shavings. And I've got some green onions, which I'll just cut the ends off of and strip the outer skin from. And then just sort of chop in the 2-inch chunks. That over there. Also got cilantro. I got some cilantro, but I also have some basil. And I think I'm going to use basil instead of cilantro. I got this nice hydroponic basil today, so it seems a shame not to use it. So, I think we are ready to eat. Oh, and I'll have to get the lettuce. Yes, I did buy lettuce, that's right. I was confused there for a minute. You're supposed to use Boston lettuce, but I like this butter lettuce, so that's what I'm going to use. So you just want to pull off some lettuce, and of course you want whole leaves of lettuce. And then pull you off some basil, and some cucumbers, and some carrots, and some green onions. And we'll get us some peanut sauce and a little ramekin here. This is enough to serve 4, so I'll just take a quarter of it. just that simple. See ya.